I managed and helped many school communities grow into making tons, thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And one of the most important and most overseen part of the school community is the onboarding sequence. People just think, oh, well, I just do this video, I make this message, and so on. But you have to understand how important it is and how much more attention you should give it. Because it's like you get the person in there, and that's like getting somebody's phone number. But what happens between the phone number and the date? Okay, that is the onboarding sequence, but also into the date as well. And then, it kind of tapers off, but the onboarding sequence is so important to keep it alive, keep the buzz going, keep the excitement. So we're going to dig into onboarding sequence right now. And I want to use something that's time tested, one of the best onboard sequences that I personally know of and I love, and that's Apple. So we're going to go into them. So let's start from the beginning. You and your client, you fall in love, and you're like, yay, we're going to work together. I'm going to do this service. This is the spark, and everything else happens after that. So you start the exchange, and there's some hesitation. There's a lot happening. It's not done. It's not over. There can be recalls. There can be, I want my money back, buyer's remorse, so many things. Just because you're here doesn't mean anything. It is not done. The product exchange isn't over until they're happy. And in fact, the purchasing with you is part of the product. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So, like I said, what is Apple's onboarding sequence? It's very laid out, it's very methodical, and it's very good. And you can apply the same thing for your school community, for your products, or whatever. It takes some time and some work and some thinking outside the box, but we can do it. What they do is they go through these few steps. I'm going to break down each one of them for you and help you get your onboarding sequence to be super tight, super custom to you, so that you can actually get those calls and help people and get them into the service that you provide so you can make their life better and solve their problems. So the thing I'm going to just nail this home. Like, if you're not doubling down on onboarding sequence, you are truly messing with your own product. It is absolutely imperative. You can automate almost all of it, and it's really, really important. So why wouldn't you double down on this? The service that you provide is part of your product. In the onboarding sequence makes the purchasing feel like it's real, especially for coaches, because you have something that's very intangible, which is this path that you have set up, and you said, I will help you here. I'm going to get you in shape. I'm going to make you more money, so on, so that they go through the path, and they need to believe that you're going to do that. And A to B, the very first steps are this. They have to be indoctrinated with the belief, with almost in a sense the lie, depending on how, disciplined they are, that you can get them in shape in 6 weeks, 3 months. They want that. They need to know that. And this is part of it, because this develops the trust and understanding. And these things all accumulate into them feeling like they are awesome. And you stand for certain things. That's what you're going to do. You want to prevent them from turning away, having remorse, confusion. They don't want to feel lost when they sign up with you and get connected with you. And it's very sad just because your links are broken, or the social media for your Instagram at the bottom of your website goes to a dead Instagram. That is unacceptable. And these things are found and develop a lack of trust. And when you don't have an onboarding sequence and things tight, it just adds up, and you're just like, ugh. Where if you did have a really clear onboarding sequence and there's a couple broken links, it's fine. It's like, yeah, well, I know they're there for me. And you'll understand that as we go through them. Because fulfillment doesn't start after onboarding. The onboarding is part of the fulfillment. It is part of the service. It is part of your product. Get that into your skull. The onboarding is your product. It's almost one of the most important things. People talk about thumbnails and titles for a YouTube video being the absolute most important thing because everybody sees the thumbnail and title. So you put all of that in there, and it's so imperative for your video to even be clicked because nobody clicks on a video they don't see. Anybody who's coming into your product goes through the onboarding or your community. It's the 100% of your clients go through it. So why aren't you doubling down on it? It's so important. So the first thing you want to do, as far as how Apple does, and I'm going to run you through a purchase of Apple, and you can see firsthand, how is this going to work for you? You need a confirmation. You need to be like, great, you're in. And you can try to do this in any way. I recommend any automation emails, probably. I think what Apple does is if you can get it close to that, the better. And it depends on the product as well, right? If you're doing a service, it might be a little different, but you can still be like, hey, I've got your payment. That is good. And we'll let you know that the items are on the way. Whoops. We'll let you know that the items are on the way. Like, hey, you're good. Everything is confirmed. We're going to just get back to you in just a second. And then you have the status update. This is the reassurance that, you're in good hands. I know that it said you paid, but they're sitting there going, oh, okay, cool. What now? So you're now saying we're going to be holding your hand through the whole thing. Your items have been shipped. They're going, okay, cool. I can now all I have to do is just wait and it's fine. And they can be like, all right, so this would be like, hey, sign up for your first call with this link, something like that. Or here, hey, can you gather your logos and color palettes or anything like that to send to me and any drive links or whatever. First things, like you need to show them that you've got them by reassuring that you're handling it and you have a structure in place. Something as simple as saying, hey, we're taking care of it. You just sit back and we'll be in touch. That is sweet. Because imagine you drop 2K, 10K on something. You don't want just a receipt. You want somebody to be like already starting and be like, all right, hey, cool. Listen, within the next 3 days, one of us is going to reach out. If you don't hear from us, by all means, email this email or text me or whatever, but we've got you. So I know things take up time. So it's very reassuring. It's very important. And then that orientation, right? So this in Apple is after you get it, what happens, right? That you go through the unboxing experiences, which is one of the last things you kind of focus on with your product in general is the experience of everything. But when you look at it through an orientation lens, this is where you say, hey, if you would you watch this video before our call and get situated? This would list maybe like a form to fill out or anything that's like starting to connect and warming up. This is the interaction of the whole process, right? And then the very first action, which is the call, right? This is where you connect. And this is like, as as Apple has it here, is actually starting the process of doing this. This is your first call, your first whatever. A lot of people on Skool think that, just go join one of the group calls, and that's fine. Or why don't you make a post and introduce yourself? Okay, most people don't want to do that and they don't care. So connecting that way isn't good enough. What at this point you should be doing as far as Skool community or anything that's like that is somehow reaching out to them immediately, one-to-one. Now, I like to have this as an automated message with Skool. You just send them an email and be like, hey, how's it going or whatever. Really important to just actually message them and get to know them. And then setting expectations. This is something that's like, hey, this is what we stand for. This is what we're here. Why don't you watch a little bit of like you're at this classroom, this mini course or something, to be like, all right, like this is how things are. Like there is batteries in the AirPods, for example, and you want to make them understand that things don't happen overnight, but you are observant of the things that make it difficult, or, might slow down their excitement, or, make something a little more realistic, but keeping the dream, right? And the dream is to use it, which is exactly what you want them to do, which is have an early win. When you take those AirPods in, you've connected it, you've gone through this stuff. If you didn't have any of this onboarding sequence, say with the AirPods, and you're just giving up them on your desk, it's crap. As you're like, what? And like if you were fiddling with how to connect them and there was no automation for that, and you have to push all these buttons and do this stuff, it's like crap. It's like, I don't even like it. And then you finally get to it. It's like a hassle. How many things in your life do you want to just use, but then you can't connect this and that and so on? It's garbage. The experience, the first early win that Apple does so well because of the ecosystem is they be able to make it just work. So how can you make your product or service just work? Like, hey, here is the, like, welcome, we'll be in touch. You message them. Here's a calendar event. Looks like everything's good. We call you up. Everything seems fine. Oh, here's your first to-do item. And that early win of that early to-do thing actually levels them up somehow. It has to be done first. You can't just do intake. Just like a hook in a video where it's just bam, bam, bam. It's a big win. You need to really make sure that somehow before your service starts, like the actual long part, the good part, you give them some kind of a spark to make them win. And then, of course, you have to reassure them one more time by going with ongoing support. How are they getting in touch with you? Different companies, say, whether it's a coach or something, will be like, here, you can Vox me or whatever, anytime. It's 24/7, or just message me on Instagram or something. It depends on the coach, what you're offering and so on. But that extra part being like, I am here for you and you are going to win, makes them dig their heels in and be like, I'm in for this. And if somebody's in at this point, they are really, really in, and they're going to do good, and they're going to actually succeed in the process that you want. So let's go over it again for Skool. They join, and then they can say pin a post, or you welcome them right away with a DM, and then you can have that onboarding video. This is like kind of specific for Skool, but I kind of wanted to lay out something. What does this look like in the actual thing that you should do? So you have your onboarding video and things like that, right? And then you have your introduce yourself, like book a call, like, hey, welcome to the community. Let's chat, right? And then you can post about, this is the expectations, like here's how this community works here, what's different, how do people work together, and what is the community like as a system? And then instantly reply, like always be there for the new people. Like you can't be a ghost. I fall under this problem myself. Sometimes I just turn around, and you don't want to do that. So yeah, you want to then finally let them know where this is going and where all of this sits in the roadmap for their success. Because if they can see the road ahead and they see what the efforts are doing for them, and you have given them that instant win, for example, the instant replies and so on, then they can see that roadmap and go ahead. So if you want to know more and you want to hear more of that, join my community. It's free. So I can help you out in building your brand. And, I just love talking about it. So anything that you have come up about like your onboarding sequence, by all means, hit me up and just ask me a question. I would love to go over all of this with you. Until next time, peace.